We always hear about the usual success secrets, work hard, persevere, and the obvious hustle mentality. But what about the less obvious behind the scenes habits that truly shape the most successful women? And these aren't the things that you'll find in your everyday self-improvement book, but they could well be the real game changers. The small, subtle shifts that make all the difference in how these women show up in their careers, in their relationships, and in their personal lives. So if you've ever wondered what sets high-achieving women apart, you're about to find out. Because in this video, we're diving into the underrated habits of successful women that nobody talks about. So get ready to level up your life with these subtle yet powerful shifts. So let's get started. Welcome to the Chic Evolution, your ultimate destination for fashion, beauty, and empowerment. I am a former top model and multiple beauty pageant winner. I've had the privilege of walking the runways from America to Europe. I've graced magazine covers, and my passion for helping others has empowered me to uplift those around me. So join me as I share insider tips on style, confidence, and living your best chic life. Because at the Chic Evolution, confidence is always in season. Welcome back to our little corner of the internet where we explore all things fashion, all things femininity, and of course, all things empowerment. Before we jump in, you know the drill. Please do take the time to comment, take the time to like, and to also subscribe to the channel. And if you are new here, we like to start each video by lighting up a candle. And towards the end of the video, we blow it out and I send you with an uplifting affirmation. So definitely stay tuned for that. And I always invite you to also join in this little practice and light up a candle if you have one at home. And there you go, our candle is lit up, and the candle that we have today is called Du Verger. So oh my god, let's get started because I am so excited for this video. Oh my god, I need to calm down. Anyways, let's jump right in. Oh, before we get there, please do let me know in the comment section below one goal you want to accomplish in the next year to the next 3 years. I would really love to hear them, and we can also just encourage each other in the comment section below. Now, let's get into the first underrated habit of successful women. So in a world that constantly demands more from us, successful women have learned the art of intentional boredom. Yes, you definitely heard that right, boredom. And it's something that we all usually try to avoid, right? Filling every moment with scrolling, maybe texting, or even checking emails here and there. But here's the thing, great ideas don't come when you're distracted by endless tasks. They come when your brain has space to wonder. And that's exactly why successful women deliberately create moments of stillness in their day. They step away from the noise and allow themselves to just be. When you give your mind room to breathe, it starts making unexpected connections. And you might suddenly remember a great idea you had months ago, maybe come up with a creative solution to a problem, or even gain clarity on a situation that's been stressing you out. So this is why some of the best ideas come to people in the shower, while driving, or even during a long walk. And successful women know this, so they build time for unstructured thinking into their routine. And it's not about being lazy, it's about giving your brain space to work its magic. And one example of this is Oprah Winfrey, who has spoken about her love for quiet time. So she sets aside time to sit in silence, away from technology, allowing her thoughts to flow freely. And this practice has helped her gain clarity and make some of the most important decisions of her career. Another example is J.K. Rowling, who came up with the idea of Harry Potter while staring out of a train window. So if she had been scrolling on her phone instead, the world might not have gotten one of the most beloved book series of all time. So to practice this habit, start by scheduling at least 10 to 15 minutes of intentional boredom into your day. Put your phone away, turn off your notifications, and let yourself just exist. You could go for a walk without any music. You could sit quietly with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, or you could just stare out the window and let your mind wander. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but over time, you'll notice how much clearer and more creative your thinking becomes. The key here is to resist the urge to fill every moment with distractions. So embracing boredom isn't just about creativity, it's about mental health. When you're always on, you're burning yourself out without even realizing it. So giving yourself space to slow down can really help reduce stress, improve focus, and also just boost your overall well-being. So think of it as a mental reset that keeps you from feeling overwhelmed. And successful women use this habit to stay sharp and inspired while avoiding the exhaustion that comes with constant hustle, right? So the next time you catch yourself reaching for your phone, just out of boredom, pause and let your mind wander instead. I promise you, you might be surprised at the insights or ideas that come to you. And now, speaking of working smarter, let's move on to another underrated habit of high achieving women: designing their day around energy, not time. So most people schedule their day by the clock, right? So wake up at this time, work from this hour to that hour, maybe squeeze in a workout at the end of the day, maybe if I feel like it. But successful women don't just plan their day around time, they plan it around energy. So what does that mean exactly? Well, they pay close attention to when they feel the most focused, the most creative, and the most tired, and they adjust their schedules accordingly. So this means they work with their bodies rather than against them. So for example, if a woman knows she's most focused in the morning, she won't waste that time on emails or smaller tasks. Instead, she'll dive straight into deep work. So maybe writing, maybe some brainstorming, or even tackling the most challenging projects. Conversely, if she knows she gets an afternoon slump, she won't force herself to do high energy work at that time. Instead, she'll schedule lower energy activities like meetings, maybe some emails, or even a short break to recharge. And this habit is backed by science. So our bodies operate on something called ultradian rhythms, which is the natural cycle of energy that lasts between 90 to 120 minutes. So between an hour and a half to 2 hours. Because after this, our focus naturally starts to fade and we need a break to recharge. Successful women recognize these rhythms and structure their work accordingly. They don't push through exhaustion just to check things off a to-do list. They optimize their workflow so they're working naturally at their best. And a great example of this is Arianna Huffington, the founder of the Huffington Post and Thrive Global. She is a huge advocate for working smarter, not harder, and often talks about the importance of managing energy rather than managing time. So she prioritizes rest and recovery, ensuring she can show up as her best self every day. Another example is the amazing Michelle Obama, who has spoken about how she schedules workouts early in the morning because that's when she feels her best. So to apply this to your own life, start tracking your energy levels throughout the day. Notice when you feel most alert and when you start to drag. Use that information to structure your tasks more effectively. And if your most productive time is in the morning, use that time for deep work. And if you tend to feel drained in the afternoon, schedule a lighter task or a break at that time. So small adjustments can make a massive difference in your productivity and in your well-being. So this approach also helps prevent burnouts. Instead of forcing yourself to work through exhaustion, you learn to listen to your body and respect its natural rhythms. And over time, this leads to greater efficiency, better results, and a more sustainable approach to success. So learning how to work with your energy, not just your schedule, is a game changer. And speaking of game changers, let's talk about another habit that truly separates the successful women from the rest. We're really talking about building micro communities of support, not just networks. So most people think of networking as collecting as many contacts as possible, attending events, maybe exchanging business cards, and maybe also connecting on LinkedIn. But successful women don't just build networks, they cultivate micro communities of support. So these are small, trusted circles of people who genuinely uplift and help one another rather than just making surface level connections. So instead of focusing on quantity, they focus on quality, ensuring that the people around them align with their values and with their ambitions. So this specific approach is powerful because it creates a sense of belonging and support that goes beyond traditional networking. While a larger network might give you access to opportunities, a strong micro community gives you something even more valuable. It gives you advice, it gives you encouragement, and a safe space to share your struggles, because we know that life be lifing sometimes. Successful women know that the right people can make all the difference in their growth. So they are intentional about who they surround themselves with. They don't just network for the sake of it. They invest in relationships that truly matter. Think of a powerhouse woman like Sheryl Sandberg, who co-founded Lean In Circles, amongst other things. So Lean In Circles are small groups where women support each other in their personal and professional growth. And these micro communities provide accountability, shared wisdom, and encouragement, helping each other reach their goals. It's not about inclusivity. It's about surrounding yourself with people who bring out the best in you. So to build your own micro community, start by identifying people who inspire you, people who challenge you, and who genuinely want to see you win in all aspects of life. And these people could be close friends, it could be certain family members, it could be mentors, it could be colleagues who share your values and your aspirations. And nurture these relationships by checking in regularly, offering support as well, and creating spaces for honest conversations. So whether it's a weekly coffee chat, maybe a small mastermind type of group, or even a group chat where you share wins and struggles. So these micro communities can be life-changing, I promise you. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to do everything alone. Successful women understand that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, because they lean on their micro communities for advice, for feedback, and for encouragement. When they face setbacks, they don't isolate themselves, they reach out to their circle for support. This not only helps them overcome challenges faster, but also strengthens their relationships over time. So if you don't really have a micro community, start by making small connections with people who share your interest and your values. Engage in conversations, offer support as well, and be intentional about building meaningful relationships. And I promise you that over time, you'll find that having a strong support circle is one of the most powerful success tools you can have. And speaking of powerful tools, let's move on to another habit that sets high achieving women apart, and that is mastering emotional regulation. One of the most overlooked secrets of highly successful women is their ability to master emotional regulation. So in a world that constantly tests your patience and your resilience, the ability to stay calm, composed, and in control is a major advantage. Rather than letting emotions dictate their actions, these women know how to process their feelings in a way that serves them rather than sabotages them. And this doesn't mean that they suppress their emotions. It means that they manage them effectively so that they can remain level-headed no matter the situation. And think about it, emotional regulation is a skill that allows them to navigate challenges with grace. Instead of reacting impulsively to criticism, to setbacks, or even stressful situations that sometimes you have no control over, they take a step back to assess the situation logically. They also understand that emotional outbursts or rash decisions can damage their reputation, their relationships, even their career, and most importantly, their well-being. So by staying composed, they maintain an air of confidence and control that commands respect. So this is especially important in leadership roles, negotiations, and personal interactions where their emotional response can influence outcomes. So for example, imagine a high-stakes meeting where a successful woman is being unfairly criticized for a project delay. Instead of getting defensive or emotional, she takes a deep breath, listens attentively, and responds with facts and solutions. She doesn't let the criticism shake her self-worth because she understands that emotions should inform her decisions, not control them. So this kind of emotional intelligence not only earns her respect, but also helps her solve conflicts more effectively. And one of the ways successful women master emotional regulation is by practicing mindfulness and self-awareness. So they take the time to understand their emotional triggers and develop strategies to manage them. And this might include journaling to process their feelings. It could be meditating to cultivate inner calm, or it could just be engaging in deep breathing exercises to ground themselves in stressful moments. They also set boundaries to protect their emotional energy, knowing that constantly exposing themselves to negativity or toxic environments can drain their resilience. Another crucial aspect of emotional regulation is learning how to reframe challenges. So what do I mean by that? Instead of seeing obstacles as failures, they view them as learning experiences. When something doesn't go as planned, they don't spiral into self-doubt or frustration for too long. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their approach, and move forward with a clear mind. So this ability to shift perspectives keeps them from getting stuck in negative emotions, allowing them to maintain momentum in their personal and professional lives. And if you want to cultivate this habit, start by becoming more aware of your emotional patterns. The next time you feel triggered or overwhelmed, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is this emotion serving me, or is it clouding my judgment right now? Take a few deep breaths, detach from the intensity of the moment, and choose a response that aligns with your long-term goals and your long-term values. And my chic babes, I promise you that over time, this practice will help you develop a sense of unshakable poise that makes you stand out. And speaking of a habit that elevates success, let's talk about how high-achieving women protect their time like a valuable asset. So highly successful women understand that time is their most valuable resource. While money can be earned, money can be lost, money can also be regained, time is just one of those things that we can't get back. And that's why they are incredibly intentional about how they spend their time, but also who they give access to it. They don't allow for unnecessary distractions, unnecessary drama, or even low-value activities that consume their day constantly. Most, if not every decision they make about their schedule aligns with their bigger goals, and they have no problem saying no to things that just don't support that. So this level of time management requires discipline, but also a strong sense of priorities. Instead of reacting to the demands of others, successful women create structured schedules that reflect their ambitions. They don't leave their days up to chance. They plan ahead and stick to a routine that maximizes their productivity. So whether it's setting aside time for focused work, maybe some personal development, or even self-care, they treat their schedule like a sacred contract with themselves. So for example, consider a woman who is building her business while juggling a full-time job. Instead of spending hours scrolling on social media or saying yes to every single social event, with her business in mind, she could protect her evenings for focused work. And beyond that, she sets clear boundaries with friends, with family, ensuring that they understand that her time is limited, but also purposeful. So as she respects their schedule, they will respect hers. And this doesn't mean not having any fun at all. It means being intentional rather than impulsive. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing busyness with productivity. Successful women know the difference. They don't waste time on tasks that don't move the needle. If something can be delegated, if something can be automated or even eliminated, they make it happen. They also use tools like time blocking, Pomodoro technique, or even the Shower matrix to ensure they're always working on high impact tasks rather than getting lost in the busy work. And another key strategy they use is implementing strict and respectful boundaries. They're not afraid to say no to requests that don't align with their goals, with their values, or their self-respect. And that's because they understand that every time they say yes to something, they are saying no to something else, and sometimes something more important. They also set clear expectations with colleagues, clients, and loved ones. So if they need deep focus time, they turn off notifications. They may also decline unnecessary meetings and even create an environment that supports their productivity. And if you want to adopt this mindset, start by auditing your time. Where are you spending your time? Are you filling your day with things that truly matter? Are you letting distractions or obligations steal your focus? Once you identify time wasters, start making intentional shifts. Set clear priorities, schedule your day with purpose, and practice saying no without feeling guilty. The more you value your time, the more others will too. And speaking of setting yourself up for success, let's talk about the habit of continuously learning and evolving. I absolutely love this one. And that's because successful women never stop learning. They understand that personal growth is key to staying ahead in their careers, in their relationships, and just in their overall life. Because after all, we don't know everything there is to know. And there is power in recognizing that. I mean, think about it. The world is constantly evolving, and successful women make it a point to evolve with it. Whether it's reading books, maybe taking courses, watching content that empowers them, attending seminars, or just seeking mentorship, they actively invest in their knowledge and in their skills. Because they are not content with just staying the same. They push themselves to grow. They push themselves to adapt and to refine their expertise. This mindset separates them from those who remain stagnant, believing that they already know everything there is to know. So while others may solely rely on what they already know, high-achieving women are always seeking new information and new perspectives. They are curious, they are open-minded and willing to challenge their own beliefs if it means gaining deeper wisdom. And my chic babes, this hunger for knowledge allows them to navigate challenges with confidence, solving problems, and make better decisions. For example, imagine a woman who wants to transition into, let's say, a new industry, or maybe she wants to change careers. Instead of hesitating due to the lack of experience, she immerses herself in learning everything there is to know about it. She might take online courses, listen to podcasts, videos, and reaches out to experts for guidance. So over time, she becomes so knowledgeable that she successfully makes the switch. This proactive approach to learning is what sets successful women apart. They don't wait for opportunities. They prepare for them. And if they're not there, they create them. So one of the most powerful habits successful women have is reading. Many of the world's most influential women dedicate time each day to reading books that expand their mindset. Whether it's personal development, leadership, or even industry-specific content, they know that reading provides insights that they wouldn't get elsewhere. They also understand that success leaves clues, so they study the habits and strategies of those who have already achieved what they aspire to. And beyond formal education, they also embrace learning through experience. They are not afraid to take risks, make mistakes, and use failures as lessons. And instead of seeing setbacks as signs to quit, they analyze what went wrong and adjust their approach. This resilience allows them to continue to evolve rather than staying stuck in the fear or self-doubt. And if you want to adopt this habit, make a commitment to lifelong learning. Set aside time every day or every week or every month to take a course or engage in thought-provoking discussions. Surround yourself with people who inspire growth and never ever be afraid to ask questions. Seek to understand the why behind things. The more you invest in your knowledge, the more you will expand your opportunities. And speaking of habits that build resilience, let's talk about the power of taking care of your body and mind. Highly successful women know that their body and mind are their greatest assets. No matter how ambitious they are, they understand that they cannot perform at their best if they're constantly exhausted, constantly stressed out, or even unhealthy. And that's why they make their well-being a top priority. So they see self-care not as luxury, but as necessary for long-term success. So taking care of their body starts with nourishing it properly. So they don't just fall into the trap of fueling themselves with caffeine every few hours or junk food just to power through workload. Instead, they prioritize a balanced diet that sustains their energy levels, because they understand that food is fuel and they make mindful choices that keep them feeling strong and vibrant. They also stay hydrated and make exercise a non-negotiable part of their routine, whether it's strength training, yoga, or simply going for a walk. Just as they care for their physical health, they also protect their mental well-being. So they recognize that stress and burnout can derail their progress, so they implement habits that keep them emotionally and mentally balanced. So meditation, journaling, and gratitude practices help them maintain a clear, focused mindset. They also ensure they get enough rest because they know that lack of sleep leads to poor decision making, mood swings, and decreased productivity. So, for example, think of a woman who wants a high-pressure job but refuses to sacrifice her well-being. Instead of pulling all-nighters or working herself into exhaustion, she maintains a structured routine. She wakes up early to exercise, prepares nourishing meals in advance, and has a strict evening wind-down routine to ensure quality sleep. So this level of self-discipline keeps her sharp, it keeps her energized and ready to tackle challenges with ease. And another key aspect of well-being is setting boundaries to protect their mental space. Successful women do not allow toxic people, not even draining environments, to affect their peace. And that's because they choose to surround themselves with supportive, uplifting individuals who encourage their growth. And if something consistently brings negativity into their life, they are not afraid to have constructive discussions to solve the issues. But if there are no changes, they're not afraid to cut ties or create distance for the sake of their well-being. So, if you want to embrace this habit, start prioritizing your health in small, consistent ways. Drink more water, move your body daily, and set boundaries around rest. Go further than that. Protect your mental space by limiting exposure to negativity and adopting stress management techniques. Remember that success is a long-term game, and your well-being is the foundation that allows you to sustain it. Now, let's move on to another powerful trait of highly successful women, the ability to take calculated risks. Highly successful women understand that growth and success require stepping outside of their comfort zones. They do not let fear of failure hold them back from pursuing new opportunities. Instead, they take calculated risks, so decisions that are well thought out, strategically planned, and based on potential rewards. Because they know that playing it safe may provide short-term comfort, but it often leads to long-term regret. And taking risks doesn't mean being reckless. Successful women analyze their options, they weigh down the pros and the cons, and they just prepare for possible outcomes. They also conduct research, they seek advice from mentors, and trust their instincts. But most importantly, they take action. They don't wait for the perfect moment because they understand that perfection is an illusion. You know why? Because they know that if they fail, they will at least gain valuable experience that will help them make better decisions in the future. So, for example, consider a woman who wants to start her own business but is hesitant to leave her stable job that doesn't allow her to thrive. Instead of quitting impulsively, she takes a strategic approach. She builds her business on the side, saves money to create a financial cushion, and tests her idea before fully committing. And over time, her business grows. She gains the confidence to transition into entrepreneurship. So, another important aspect of embracing discomfort is overcoming self-doubt. So many women hesitate to take big leaps because they fear they are not qualified. But successful women do not let imposter syndrome stop them. And that's why they take action despite their doubts, knowing that confidence comes from experience, not preparation. They remind themselves that every expert was once a beginner, and the only way to truly grow is by doing. They also surround themselves with people who encourage them to take bold steps instead of listening to naysayers who project their own fears and who project their own insecurities. They seek out mentors, friends, or even family members who uplift them. You know why? Because they understand that being around ambitious, fearless individuals will inspire them to adopt the same mindset. They also learn from the experiences of others, using their success stories as proof that risk-taking leads to rewards. So, if you want to adopt this mindset, start by identifying one area in your life where fear is holding you back. Is it applying for a higher paying job? Maybe it's launching a creative project. Maybe it's moving to a completely different new city. Whatever it is, take one step towards it this month. The more you push yourself to embrace discomfort, the more you will build resilience. And now let's move on to another habit that fuels success, and that is staying financially savvy and independent. So successful women understand that financial independence is a crucial part of personal freedom. They do not rely on anyone to fully secure all aspects of their future. Instead, they take full control of their finances by budgeting, by savings, maybe investing, and continuously educating themselves about money management. They know that wealth isn't about how much they earn, it's about how well they can manage and grow what they already have. And one of the biggest financial habits of successful women is living below their means. And that's because they do not fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation, where increased earnings lead to increased spending. Instead, they prioritize financial security by saving and investing a portion of their income. They also create budgets, they track their expenses, and make intentional decisions about where their money goes. For example, a woman earning a six-figure salary might choose to drive a modest car and live in a reasonably priced home while aggressively investing in her future. And that's simply because she understands that true wealth is built over time, not through flashy purchases. She focuses on building assets, whether it's stocks, real estate, or a business. So her money works for her, not the other way around. And another key financial habit is avoiding unnecessary debt. So while successful women may use credit strategically, they do not rely on it to fund their lifestyle. They pay off high interest debt quickly, negotiate better deals when possible, and understand the power of good credit. They also recognize that financial stress can be a major distraction, so they take proactive steps to ensure they are never in a desperate financial situation. They also make a habit of learning about money, whether it's reading personal finance books, maybe attending workshops, or following expert advice in person or through educational content. They continuously educate themselves about money. And that's because they know that financial literacy is a lifelong skill and they take it seriously. They don't shy away from conversations about money or feel guilty for wanting financial success. They embrace it as a necessary part of their overall well-being. So my chic babes, if you want to build this habit, start by assessing your financial situation. Create a budget, track your spending, and set clear financial goals and boundaries. Learn about different investment options to make a plan to build wealth. Because the more control you have over your money, the more freedom you will have in your life. And speaking of freedom, let's dive into the final habit. And this habit is one, if not the most important habit to cultivate, and that is strategic self-promotion. So one of the most underrated yet powerful habits of successful women is strategic self-promotion. It's easy to assume that self-promotion means bragging or being boastful, but the truth is it's an essential skill for building credibility and visibility. Because successful women understand that their accomplishments, their skills, and their expertise deserves recognition, but they also know that promotion matters. So they approach self-promotion with intention, with authenticity, and focus on how they can provide value to others. So by framing their successes in a way that aligns with their goals and the needs of those around them, they are able to advocate for themselves without coming across as self-centered or even pushy. And strategic self-promotion is about creating opportunities for visibility, whether it's sharing your wins in a humble and thoughtful way or putting yourself forward for a project or a leadership role. Successful women don't wait for others to recognize their potential. They take the initiative to showcase their strengths and expertise. So for instance, they might share their achievements on professional platforms like LinkedIn, not in a boastful way, but in a way to show that they bring value to the table. So by doing so, they create a space where their skills are visible to others, leading to more opportunities, collaborations, and advancements. They also understand the importance of showcasing their work, whether it's through case studies, maybe speaking engagements, or collaboration with others. And this may feel uncomfortable at first, but successful women know that putting themselves out there in a way that's authentic can have a profound impact. And this doesn't mean that they're constantly talking about their achievements 24/7, but rather that they know how to speak up and share their progress in a way that emphasizes value and contribution. So, for example, during a meeting, they might highlight their role in a successful project or discuss their skills and how they're evolving. And they do this in a way that focuses on how their contributions serve the overall team or company goals. So by doing this, they come across as confident and result-driven, which ultimately builds their reputation as someone who gets things done. And moreover, successful women understand the art of balancing humility and confidence. They promote themselves without overselling or downplaying their worth. They know that over-modesty can undermine their achievements, but they also understand that excessive self-promotion can lead to discomfort. So basically, by maintaining that balance, they're able to advocate for themselves in a way that feels natural and that aligns with their authentic selves. So think about how someone might describe their accomplishments with a simple, I was part of the team that X, Y, and Z, or I contributed by da 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 da. So this approach is good because it brings others into the conversation, making the promotion less about individual success and more about teamwork and collaboration, which is good. And a key part of strategic self-promotion is also about recognizing that it's not about how often you talk about your achievements, but about how effectively you communicate your value. Successful women don't feel the need to share everything they've accomplished all the time, but when they do, it's done with intention. And that's because they make sure that the people who matter know what they've achieved and how they can continue to add value. And this approach is thoughtful and it's also very strategic, and it allows them to maintain their authenticity while also building their personal brand. Finally, strategic self-promotion isn't about sharing accomplishments all the time. It's also about asking for what you deserve. Successful women aren't afraid to ask for raises, for promotions, or even recognition when they know they've earned it. So this self-advocacy is really rooted in the belief that they are worthy of success and it's okay to claim what you've worked for. And this can be in any aspect, whether it's negotiating a salary, maybe asking for more challenging projects at work, or even seeking a leadership role. They understand the power of asking. And this is a habit that not only elevates their careers, but also empowers them to lead and inspire others to do the same. Now, how do you implement this habit in your life? 1. Start small. Begin by finding one area where you can strategically promote your work. It could be a simple social media post, maybe an email to your team, or even a quick mention in a meeting. The key is to start with small, low-pressure situations where you can build your self-promotion muscles. Number 2, frame your successes in terms of value. So when you share your achievements, focus on how your actions benefit others. So for example, instead of saying something like, I completed this project, try framing it this way. I was able to complete this project on time and under budget, which really helped our team meet the key deadlines. You see, there's a huge difference between the two. Number 3, celebrate team wins. So when discussing your accomplishments, emphasize collaboration and teamwork. So for example, you could say something like, I was part of a fantastic team that brought this idea to life, instead of solely focusing on yourself. This creates a more inclusive tone and reduces the pressure to brag. Number 4, ask for what you deserve. So if you truly believe that you've earned recognition, don't be afraid to ask for it. And this might mean negotiating a raise, maybe asking a more challenging project like we've highlighted before, or maybe seeking more responsibility in your role. Just be prepared to articulate your accomplishments and how they've benefited the organization. Number 5, make it a habit. So consistently look for ways to highlight your skills and your achievements in your day-to-day work. And this doesn't have to be big events, but rather woven into your regular routine. And as they say, practice makes perfect, and over time, it'll feel more natural. And finally, number 6, stay authentic. So make sure your self-promotion feels true to who you are. There is no need to oversell or pretend to be someone you're not. Because when self-promotion is rooted in authenticity and genuine desire to help, it will resonate with others. So by incorporating these strategies into your daily habits, you'll become more comfortable with self-promotion, and more importantly, you'll position yourself for greater success and recognition. So this is what I want you to take away from this video. Success isn't about luck. It's built through daily habits that shape your mindset, that shape your discipline and confidence. The most successful women aren't the ones who have it easy. They're the ones who show up consistently, push past fear, and commit to lifelong growth. Whether it's mastering your time, maybe surrounding yourself with the right kind of people, or embracing challenges, every habit you build brings you closer to the woman you are meant to be. So start small, stay consistent, and remember that your future self is counting on you to take action today. So which of these habits resonated with you the most? Or do you have any personal success habits that have changed your life? Let's continue the conversation down in the comment section below. With that being said, don't forget to share and don't forget to subscribe to join our beautiful, empowering community. And as always, before I let you go, I'm gonna send you with this affirmation. My chic babes, until our next encounter, let your uniqueness shine, let your self-love grow, and let your confidence inspire. And I'll see you when? I'll see you sooner than later. There you go. It's a wrap. It is a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.